For our all services webinar. If you're waiting for a couple of minutes, I apologize for any delay. I was trying to upload our presentation for today, so I finally got that under the required size. So today I'm going to be doing a general overview of all of our services, since a lot of deadlines are approaching or maybe new ones are coming up for some retrofitting. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat and I will get to them most likely after I stop sharing the presentation. So let me add now the PowerPoint that finally got uploaded. All right, so hopefully everybody can see that. I had to remove a whole bunch of pages to get this to fit. So I'll make this brief, and if you have any other questions, I will put our contact info at the end. So again, I'm Helen with One Structural, and these are our divisions that I'm going to be talking about: Balcony 1, ADU 1, and Retrofit 1. And we do everything from the engineering, permitting, and full construction for your project. So I'm going to start with the balcony inspections because that deadline is approaching and it's actually coming up at the end of next year, technically January 1st, 2025. But we consider that basically the end of next year, because by January 1st, that's already the deadline. So you have about 1 year, maybe 13, 14 months left to do these. So SB 721 and SB 326 applies to every single building, apartment or condo with 3 or more units, and that's of course 2 stories or more. Unless, I mean, I haven't seen it a 1-story with elements that meet the requirements, but you never know. So these bills were actually effective in 2019. So we're getting a lot of questions about, oh, is the deadline going to be extended or anything like that? Because some people are hearing about this for the first time. And unfortunately, it will not be extended. 1, because there's a huge liability with this. 2, this is a recurring deadline that you have to do every 6 or 9 years, depending on which bill you have to follow. So the deadline is going to be recurring again every 6 to 9 years. And this was effective in 2019. So all buildings with 3 or more units need to get their exterior elevated elements inspected again every 6 or 9 years. This applies to apartments and HOAs with elements such as you see here: balconies, walkways, landings, decks, catwalks, associated waterproofing, handrails, everything like that, and anything meant for human load, wood frame, and at least 6 feet above the ground. You have to get those elements inspected. So the steps that you have to follow: get a quote. We do our free quotes, of course, by sending our field technician out to do what we call an element count, because your quote is based on how many of those exterior elevated elements you have, how many linear feet your walkways are, how many stories they are, so accessibility and everything if we have to do scaffolding. So that is how we do your quote. We do the element count first. I've been hearing that a lot of the companies don't even do site visits before. So just be careful with that, because the second part that we hear from that is, okay, I signed with them because the price was good. They may have just priced it based on number of units. That's actually wrong, because when they're going to be surprised, although I'm sure they already are aware of this. But again, the inspection has to be done based on the number of elements, not number of units. You can have 30 units and 30 balconies, but you could also have 200 linear feet of walkway on every single floor that also needs to get inspected. The balconies may be of all varying sizes, varying heights. So there's many more elements needed than just going by your units. So the second part we would hear is, of course, change orders that happen because now the company is already there, stuff is being inspected, but then they charge you for the additional elements. So make sure that you go with a company who actually does a site visit and can give you an accurate and firm quote. Also, make sure that they have the correct license. These inspections need to be done by certain engineers, architects, and building contractors. Once you're ready to go, you get your inspection done. This is a formal inspection. We get a lot of questions thinking that our technician going out for the element count is the inspection. It is not. There are very strict rules we have to follow when doing the inspection. That's visually, minimally invasive inspections, borehole drilling, endoscopic cameras, stuff like that. So that's only once you sign with us, and I'm assuming anybody else. In order to do the inspection, it is a formal inspection that is scheduled, planned, coordinated with all of your tenants and residents, and so forth. Once the inspection is done, you get a report, typically within 30 days to 45 days. And then if everything's fine, you're good. Just keep the report for 2 cycles. If there were any repairs needed, the recommendations will be in the report. And of course, access to those elements, if there's extreme hazards, must be limited. So these are just examples too of these walkways. Sometimes they're even in internal courtyards, or here it's just a walkway on the exterior of the building. These are all under the bill and they have to get inspected. And this is what our technician would do. He would be measuring the linear feet for all of these elements, the number of balconies you have, and that's how we base your quote. These items, such as that you see in these photos, are exempt. These recessed inset stairways are exempt. These types of like Romeo and Juliet areas are exempt because, again, that's a dwelling space. It's not cantilevered out of the building. There's nothing for a person to even stand over. And the area where they are standing is also above dwelling space too. And then on the top right, these are underneath 6 feet. The stairs aren't even wood, but that walkway there is under 6 feet, so it's also exempt. So that about does it for our balcony portion. Again, deadline is coming up at the end of next year. Get your free quote from us or anybody. We're happy to compare. We offer free presentations, webinars, lunch and learns, walkthroughs, anything like that, whether you're an individual owner or an HOA. We do whatever you guys need to help with your decision and to clarify the process. So our next 2 divisions, I'm going to kind of combine Retrofit 1 and ADU 1 because they do go a little bit hand in hand. Our seismic retrofit division, Retrofit 1, of course, as the name suggests, a seismic soft story retrofitting. We also do brace and bolting for single family homes. As you see here in this photo, this is us seismically retrofitting a building in Westwood with a steel moment frame. This entails doing exterior reinforcement to the building in order to help absorb some of that lateral support from an earthquake and keeps these soft story buildings a little safer, hopefully a lot more safer. So the reason that they're combined, at least in my discussion, is because if you have to retrofit your building, you can actually combine it with ADUs, because I know a lot of our customers are reluctant to, sign up and do the retrofit until the very last minute, or if the city's on their back, which isn't advisable. But in case you want to combine your retrofit elements with something that can at least generate more income and add more value to your property, the retrofitting does too for safety alone. But the ADU combined with that will at least get you more monthly income and more value as a rentable unit for your building. So as you see in this previous slide, this tuck under parking, that's actually what you can convert, still meet your retrofit requirements, and convert into an ADU at the same time. We would do separate plans for both the ADU and the retrofit, so that way with planning, it will still meet all of the requirements. And again, then you're getting a whole unit at the end. If there is an area to relocate parking, we will definitely do that and reflect that on the plans as well. We do that all the time, whether it's permitted on the driveway, in a courtyard, or anything like that. Excuse me, I'm outside, as you can tell, so my allergies are increasing by the minute. So now, just to focus more on the ADU side, ADUs, again, this was something that was, I believe, also passed in 2019, maybe effective in 2020. And the newest revision, I would say, is that the state is allowing ADUs now in multifamily properties. So that's something that wasn't permitted before. It was only just for single family homes. So the general rules, you can do conversions of existing space like a garage. I think that's probably the most popular one, a garage conversion, as well as, of course, just new construction in your backyard, to the side, above a garage. Those are many different forms that you can do the ADUs. And we do ADUs for both single family and multifamily. The biggest rule, I would say, the biggest difference in rules between the two is that for single family homes, you can generally do one ADU. You can also do a junior ADU. But for multifamily homes, you can convert existing space up to 25% of your existing number of units. So let's say you have 8-unit building with a big storage room that you're not really using. You can technically, depending on size, convert that storage room into 2 units based on the 25% rule. And if you're in LA and some other cities or counties, you can also do the up to 2 detached ADUs. So let's say you have that 8-unit building with a storage room and a parking lot or a carport or just a yard. In LA, you can technically add 4 ADUs. That's 2 through the conversions and 2 through the detached ADU allowance. And luckily, with the some recent bills that were passed last year, effective this year, they did change and amend the height allowance. So most cities, I would say, have well, they were forced to adopt these new rules, but now they are luckily allowing 2 stories. So if you do not want to remove any parking at all, we can rebuild a carport or garage with a unit or 2 on top, save parking, and then you can add, again, 2 more units. Typically, you can do up to 1,000, 1,200 square feet. Usually, at least in LA, there's no restriction if you're converting space, depending on the size. And here's just a little run through of how many units you can add. The 25% rule really only matters after 8 units. Otherwise, it's just rounded to 1. So I won't go through them, but this is how many you can do. And again, for single family homes, 1 ADU and a junior ADU. Junior ADUs, just real quick, limited to 500 square feet, has to be part of the house. It can't be detached or new construction. And I think the biggest rule is owner occupancy. So if you do a junior ADU, the owner must live in either the junior ADU or the house. So that's probably one of the biggest prohibitions with that one. And then these are just some samples of our work. This was a sort of detached carport. So it was just a roof with some pipe columns that we converted into a 550 square foot unit. And this is the finished product. These are 3 photos showing, from this. I had to take out the first picture to make the size of this presentation fit. But here are the 3 photos now. Brand new floors, kitchen, recessed lighting, everything's super nice. Here's another property we just finished. This is Tuck Under that did retrofitting, seismic retrofitting, and the ADU at the same time. So this was under construction, doing footings, grade beams, everything like that. To bam, brand new unit. I would never guess that this was ever a disgusting Tuck Under dark dungeon parking. Now it's a beautifully bright, light, airy unit ready to go. And I think this is in Culver City, so the rent up there is pretty good. Here's more photos. This is how it looks now on the outside from those pictures that I was just showing you under construction. You would never know. Looks like it's blended in with the building. Really cohesive and nice. So that about does it. Those are all of our divisions: balcony 1, ADU 1, and retrofit 1. I'm going to post our general line here. And here's one email. So although we have all of these divisions, we're all the same team, same staff. The divisions just, of course, help our customers and help us with which coordination team you're going to be with during your project. So thank you again. I'm Helen with One Structural, Balcony 1, ADU 1, and Retrofit 1. If you need any free quotes, presentations, webinars, lunch and learns, give us a call, email us, and we're happy to help you guys. Thanks again. I hope everybody had a safe and fun Halloween, and I will see everybody next time.